What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. This is the Monday afternoon mastermind call. It's Q4, so everyone's busy, so it's going to be a quick, short, to the point call. Today, we're going to talk about Gary Keller and Jay Papasan wrote a book called The One Thing. So we're going to talk about two questions today. The first question is, what would it look like if your eBay business was easy? And the second question is, what is the one thing that you're going to work on to get it to that point? So let's start with Prince. Prince, what would your eBay business look like if it was easy?
Okay, what's going on, party people? So if my business was easy or easier, let's say, I would have like a shipping department where I could trust someone to handle all the inventory and ship it. That's like the main thing, because I could get someone to ship things, but then I'd have to worry about the inventory and being lost and stolen. I think primarily because my inventory is expensive, and you could tell right off the bat it's kind of expensive. Whereas someone with maybe clothing or something, they can't really tell. So yeah, I guess one thing for me is finding someone trusted and do the business with me.
Sounds good. So that one thing, if you're finding like sort of a business manager type person, have you done anything to look at that being a potential thing for you?
Not as of right now. So like I've been growing every single month since I started, basically. Especially this November and December, I'm learning a lot about the market and how it sells. I'm coming to realize that the sales pick up by like 400% for me during these holiday times. So it's just it's a learning curve. So next year I'll start looking at help.
Sounds good. Mary, talk to us. What would it look like if your eBay business was easy, and what one thing could you work on to make it like that?
I think what my bottleneck problem now is probably photography. I find myself like listing, drafting continuously back to back. And next thing I know, I have 50 to 60 items. And I'm looking at my pile like, okay, now it's time to photograph. If I can have a photographer, I know you do. And I've seen like your changes come within the months of how helpful that's been. I think hiring a photographer would be very beneficial just to remove that bottleneck. And then probably another thing that I could add was bookkeeping. I know that this is my first year, so starting bookkeeping was kind of important for me to have all my numbers off the bat, and just be a little bit in depth with it. And then maybe next year handing that off, that would save me so much time to do bookkeeping. I don't really like that aspect, the back end, the numbers, the margins, profit, all that stuff. Like I want to know my numbers, but I don't want to have to work on them. I don't know, every single week. That's what I'm doing now. So photography, hiring photographer, might look into that next year. And bookkeeping, I think I'm going to do for maybe another 6 months till I get the complete 1 year of doing bookkeeping. So top two.
Okay. So for me, what would my eBay business look like if it was easy? Number one, it would not be at my house. If it was easy, inventory would arrive at a processing area. It might be a co-working space. In the Bay Area, space is pretty expensive. So let's say, for example, I wanted to list 100 items a day. 100 items would be available there. Somebody would draft it. Somebody would photograph it. And then at the same time, when they were putting that inventory back into the storage area, they would pack the items that were shipped that day as close to the 5 p.m. as possible, so we could get as many orders out the same day as possible. So for easy, it would look like an external office where there was somebody receiving packages, processing listings, storing and shipping. And I think that the biggest bottleneck for sure for selling one-off items is photography, because I quadrupled the number of listings I can do by adding a photographer. Then the next most difficult is just drafting, meaning getting the photos into eBay. And I'm learning file exchange, which make it a little bit easier, but that part is still time consuming. And then the pricing part can be difficult with the research, but in pre-owned items, there's not a lot of competition, so research is relatively quick. But I think if you were selling a replenishable, you would have to spend, in my opinion, a certain amount of time making sure the pricing is correct, because it's so important. That's why there's so many repricers on Amazon with new items, making sure that the pricing is at the right point. And then there's also situations where Prince experiencing a 400% increase in sales, he may want to raise his prices. who knows, like maybe the week before Christmas, you're supposed to increase your price up to 30% because people want it right then. And then maybe you drop them after Christmas to keep a high velocity till you sell out. I've seen lots of different strategies for what people are doing. But again, if you are selling one-off items, the research is not as important. So for me, I like the concept of my ideal eBay business being me looking for unique, cool items and then putting it into the front end of a eBay robot and then it lists for you. Like I was talking earlier, like in an alternate universe, you might be able to just dictate I'm selling a 2018 Nike swimsuit, medium, blue with white stripes. I want to price it at $20. I want to do free first class shipping. And it's item and I paid $4 for it. And it populates all that into there. And there's a dashboard that has like your total profit. Like that doesn't exist yet. But think about how cool it would be to voice list your entire thing. That doesn't seem like it's that hard. Somebody smart could probably figure out where you could just talk it, you know, at the thrift store, list it while you're there. Mickey Mouse tie, green, Christmas, um, you know, hold it up to your iPhone. It's like, okay, 18 inches long, 3 inches wide. You know, I mean, it would be cool if all the technology we had could actually do it. It seems like your phone, with a little bit of help, could measure for you. You know, like cameras might get advanced enough that the depth perception is that good.
On some phones, I think you could even weigh stuff. Like you hold your phone and turn on the app and you put something on top of it. I think it weighs stuff.
You might be able to weigh stuff. And I think that there might be poly mailers that print to the exact size of your item. So you don't waste any extra material in the poly mailers that you don't use. And it just prints to size whatever the package is. Because I'm seeing like I have these giant like 15 by 18 poly mailers and everything fits in it. And it's like, but of course it's not useful for smaller things because it's a waste. So I think that like that bubble wrap machine that prints bubbles, I love that thing. You can
or the thermal
the thermal stick. Yeah, that all that stuff is like very, very cool. And then also the concept of potentially drones delivering it straight to your customer. I mean, that could happen. And this whole 1 hour, 2 hour instant delivery type stuff was the one thing that I really like. The one I love selling clothing, grocery. I love selling consumables because in theory, people can come back to you. So yeah, I like that whole concept of that. So for me, what's the one thing? Right now, the one thing is relationships with suppliers. That's the one thing that I am working on because I feel like once you have the supply figured out, the rest of it is just logistics. You can make your company as big or as small as you want. Once you have a few different suppliers and you understand, whether you're getting it wholesale, if you're getting it thrifting. So for me, I want to spend a majority of my time right now making relationships, meeting people. Also, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and I'm really trying to figure out who I want that to be. And also, one more thought, which is out there: you spend 80 to 90% of your time with your parents, like before the age of 25 or something like that. I just thought that's astounding. That means like once you leave, your parental influence is gone pretty much out of your life. If you move out with your significant other, that's pretty much it. You only see them on holidays. So who are those people who I want to impact me, right? That's a very challenging question for me that I'm going to do some deep work on. So this week, for me, I'm going to work on meeting people and deciding who I want my 5 people to be in my circle. I'm sorry, not in my circle, just the 5 people I want to impact me the most while I build my network. And let's go to Prince. What do you want to work on this week?
So I really like what you're working on, actually. That's a pretty good thing you just brought up in my mind. So Chris, I'm going to have to stop texting you from now on. Sorry, buddy.
Chopping me out. That's right.
But what I really want to work on is, like the thing with the whole shipping that I mentioned before, someone I can trust and do the business for me. The only person that really comes to mind right now is like my younger brother. The only issue is, I've been trying to get him to see how things work right now, but I don't want him to actually do the business if he doesn't want to do it. If he wants to, then sure, maybe like next year I'd go 50-50 with him, and then he would handle some parts of the business and I'll do the other half. So that's the potential for me. So maybe starting to talk him into it a little bit. I don't know, trick him somehow, and then yeah.
I think that's cool because you can create an SOP too when you're trying to explain it to how your brother would do it, and that can be useful for giving it to somebody else.
Right, that's true.
There's also the part of like having a person that knows nothing about it, trying to explain it to them is a good exercise too, because your
Right.
brother already knows parts of your business.
Right. And that's why I'm kind of excited to do this coaching thing I started, because a lot of people are brand new. So I'm going all the way back to the beginning, and teaching that right now as well.
All right. Let's go with Mary. Mary, what do you want to work on this week?
What I've noticed now lately, because I had a goal for 1,000 active listings, and what I've noticed now, I just hit, I think it was 15,000 active, and I'm still at 520. So I'm really clearing out the old stuff and getting more of an average, like a higher average sale price. So I don't necessarily want that 1K active anymore, but I'm still going towards like quantity, but quality in the long run, because after this I will jump into like liquidations or wholesale for sure. I enjoy thrifting like you and sourcing, so I know that's going to be there, but for now I will just try to focus on more quality items. And as we enter 2018, I need to remember that those 5 people that I'm around with are the people that are going to need to elevate me or help each other in the same way that you described it. Or else, you what do they say also? They're like, you are as rich as the poorest person in your group. And there's rich in different ways. It's health, it's success, everything. That's the 5 people I have to remind myself to keep around for the next year for sure.
And
So
those 5
just,
people don't have to be in real life. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't even have 5 people. Some people only have 1 person, and that person is just really good in a lot of stuff. And some people use no people. They're just really self-aware, and they just improve themselves, and there isn't any other influence. They use all energy of those 5 people just on themselves improving. I think it's hard to look at yourself objectively, though, if it's only you, is a thing. And also have to challenge you, Mary. You have to look for, at least try looking for a photographer or helper, because I think
that's
that will
true.
help
Yeah,
you
there's
with the concept, because it'll even just, and I think this is a good exercise. If you put on to Craigslist or Upwork for the job description, it will really help you outline what it is that you need. Because there's no way you can write a perfect ad the first time. People will ask for clarification, like, what do you mean photographs? What do you mean white background? Like,
Yeah, and
what kind
have
of
a
experience do I
limited
need?
experience with hiring. It's harder than it seems. You'd think an ad would go on there, but we hired for our cleaning business in the past, and it's like it's not that easy. Like I know it's not. And would you suggest, now that I'm on this topic, would you suggest getting somebody who knows nothing about eBay, like you said, teaching them because that's the way that you learn, by teaching, or somebody that's somewhat like tech savvy or eBay related?
So I got really specific on the photos that I wanted, and I provided a sample in the job description. And I said, please get a pair of your own jeans and take these photographs and send it to me. This is what I want. This is the expectation. I think you can make 20 to 30 bucks an hour if you know what you're doing, and you're also mobile and active because it's physical work. And then I'm going to have some tryouts. So like when you come the first couple of days, do as many good quality photos as you can. But before you even come, see if you like it at your house. Email to me. And then the first day I had 3 or 4 photographers come. I kept the best one.
Nice.
That was a good way to do it. And I was able to feed them 1 pizza too. So I like that concept
So
of
like
getting people to, and it
best
was
out of
great
5,
because
right?
when they came, it would basically allowed me to figure out what pictures I wanted, because they had 4 different photographers' way of looking at it. And
Mhm.
so my genes, in my opinion, like I have a good idea of what I think the consumer experience is from start to beginning, because I had all that feedback from those people. And then also I specifically wanted photographer. I didn't put helper.
Okay.
Because the white balance is a little bit challenging. So the
So
guy was able to, they knew how to do white balance better than me.
nice. That's why your gym shoes look so sharp now.
Yep, that's right. So it took a long time and it's still a work in progress. And also, I put in the ad, I'm only expecting 80%. I'm expecting 80% of what I'm asking, but I'm looking for people who can improve.
Good to see
So
that.
the guy that's here, his pictures still need improvement, but like he is in the mindset of like, I'm okay with improving. Chris isn't expecting perfection, but it's also part of my job to improve it. He's the one that helped me figure out that with photography, the part that slows you down the most is sitting. If you don't sit, you can crank out tons and tons of photos.
Nice. This is
So
actually my standing setup right here.
no, I see you do it. I see you do it on your Insta story. So,
yeah, standing makes a difference, I think. And this is a standing desk as well. You're going because you sit down, you get the grouch.
Once you sit down, that's it.
You too.
You too.
That's cool.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for making this a quick call. I'll see you guys next week, and happy Q4.